siya nagsulat. Soju Nika, ano yan? Chocolate na pan-fried. I need your energy. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I hope everyone got to try the ube ice cream.
Yes. More, please.
More. I'm Ricci, Carmona. I got invited here to share with you my journey as a pastry chef here in Australia. Excuse my voice. Still not 100%. I have a cheat sheet and yeah. So I'll start with Noong bata pa ako, or when I was young. I really enjoyed eating sweets. I could eat dessert as my main course. I could finish a pint of ice cream or a jar of sweet and creamy peanut butter. Ladies' choice. In one sitting. I was very skinny, so I could then, now I can't afford to do that. I still could, but there's consequences. I've started baking as early as 9 years old, and as Lee mentioned, I was influenced or inspired by my aunt, Annie Carmona. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Chocolate Lover in the Philippines. It's like a chocolate castle. So my aunt ran her baking shop, and I would always tag along. So I was 10 years old when she took me to a chocolate making class. So at an early age, I was into baking and chocolates already. So fast forward to my adult life, when I had my two kids. So I have two kids, a 17-year-old girl and a 20-year-old boy. So when I had them, I thought of coming to Australia to give them a better quality of life or better future. But of course, it's not just jumping in the plane and okay, we'll all go move to Sydney. No, of course, there's steps so I could achieve my goal. So I was a business ad graduate, but I needed a skill to come here. So I took up a course in patisserie, and that time Marriott Hotel Manila was hiring, and when I applied, I needed to stand out because of course there are hundreds of applicants. So the first thing I said is I like making chocolates, and not all pastry chefs can. It's a you have to specialize in it. So I got hired as chocolatier, and then 7 years after that, I got an opportunity to come here. I got a job in Sydney, in the Rockwell Dining Group. I was put in the larder section, or the cold kitchen. It's the area of the kitchen where you make salads or sauces. And the pastries would come from a commissary, and I'll just heat it up or plate it. So I felt lost because I'm a pastry chef, and I was in the section where I did need to bake, and I needed knife skills, and I don't have knife skills up to now. And then also I was working 70 hours, almost 70 hours a week that time, and to make it worse, I was away from my family. I arrived by myself, but then after 5 months, my kids and my husband were able to follow. And then when they arrived, everything just started falling into place. The executive chef talked to me, asking me how I was, and I said, I'm a pastry chef. I want to work in the pastry kitchen. And then he introduced me to the executive pastry chef. And that day he was with someone from Carpigiani. Carpigiani is an Italian brand of ice cream machines and ice cream ingredients. And I was introduced to that guy, and I said, oh, I had gelato training at Carpigiani University back in the Philippines. And the executive chef and the pastry chef was like, they were like, oh, perfect, because they were starting a project of making ice cream, not just for the Rockpool Dining Group restaurants in Sydney, but all over Australia. So I was brought to that kitchen, and I was making ice cream for the group, and it was being sent to here in Melbourne, in Brisbane, and so that's the start of my pastry life in Sydney. And then I had to apply for my permanent residency because of my age. I'm at the limit, and I had to move here. It's either here or Tasmania, and so I thought I'll come here because I knew a few people. So my first job in Melbourne, I was head pastry chef at Contran Cherrier. It's a French bakery in Collingwood. It's one of the many businesses of Melbourne Racing Club. And then the pandemic hit, and all Contran Cherrier's shops permanently closed their doors. So I was left unemployed. Thank you for that. So what am I gonna do? I don't have a job. We're on lockdown. I made chocolates, of course. Yeah, and I believe that everything really would fall into place. I saw an Instagram post of Malagos. Malagos is a chocolate brand in Manila, world class, from Davao.
Yes.
Yeah, and I messaged them about how do I get these chocolates here, and then they told me that they have a supplier here. So I met with Willow Artisan Trade, Chris, and I got my chocolates from him, and I started making chocolates. But I live in the eastern suburbs, and most Filipinos are in the west. So I had problems with logistics. But yeah, it was the start of like being an advocate of Filipino flavors. Yeah, I wanted people to try our chocolates. You know, we could produce world-class, award-winning chocolates back home. But what's funny is, when I was in Marriott, I was using Belgian chocolates or Swiss chocolates. And then now that I'm here, I'd rather use our Filipino products. And then one blessed night with friends, dinner with friends, we were talking about what we miss most in the Philippines, what we miss eating. And our number one favorite food is dirty ice cream. And we wanted the honest to goodness dirty ice cream that you get on the streets. And my friend said, you can easily do that. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And then before I know it, we were looking at machines, and I was creating the 5 flavors of dirty ice cream. Ube, mango, avocado, chocolate, and cheese. Yeah. So that's how dirty ice cream started. So I'll just end my story with this last cuento or story. 12 years ago in Marriott, Manila, I was in a training, like some essential skills for supervisors and managers. And we were asked to draw a picture of how or where we see ourselves in 10 years. And I drew myself as a chef with a toque beside an ice cream truck, and the background is the Sydney Opera House.
The ice cream.
And here I am now. I'm still at the starting line, but it's okay. I know that it will happen in time. Like everything will fall into place with passion, perseverance, hard work, and inspirations from family and friends. I'll make it. Thank you, and question.
Question. Why did you call it dirty ice cream?
Okay, that's a very good question. Actually, some friends were like, why would you call it dirty? It's because we called it dirty ice cream growing up. We didn't call it like sorbetes, the Filipino word of ice cream, or the dirty ice cream. It's sold in the streets, right? And then the ice cream man would ring a bell, and as kids we would go, oh, the dirty ice cream is here, or andito na yung dirty ice cream in Filipino, but we called it dirty ice cream, and it's not. It's because it's sold in the streets. It's actually the ice cream man or the mamang sorbetero who makes it in his backyard, in his kitchen that didn't have sanitary permit. Or if you go to YouTube and search dirty ice cream, they just make it in it's like a dirty kitchen. But I'm still here. I didn't die. I didn't have E. coli or something growing up. But that's what we call the ice cream that we buy in the streets, dirty ice cream. But my ice cream is not dirty. I have a dairy license, and I have refresher course of food safety every year. So everyone who had ube ice cream today, you won't have a tummy ache or anything.
I just want to say, well, before I ask my question, this is many years ago, I would go to, every time the family goes to Singapore, there is an old guy there with a car.
I go to Singapore just for that.
Oh, you
The
really
dirty
do?
ice cream is also dirty. That one's like
That one
dirty.
is one of the best ones.
I like it, the one in the wafer.
Yes,
The size, yeah.
I feel the warmth of the
Yeah.
palm of the man.
I had it just last month. I dropped off my mom in Singapore, and whenever I go to Singapore, that's where I go.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a part of
And
it.
the ice cream man in
ice cream man
Singapore
in Singapore.
would be
Yeah.
wearing gloves.
Yeah.
The ice cream is a block,
Yeah.
and would slice and make a wafer sandwich. So he'd be wearing gloves, but he'd also take your money with his gloves. So, but again, I'm still here. You know?
That's a part of my family's tradition. And my children, every time we arrive in Singapore, we say, let's go for ice cream. Because that's what I just wanted to ask. Because here in Australia,
it's the Belgian, 70%. But you said a while ago you prefer now using the Filipino. What's the major difference between our one and the Belgian? I mean,
So the difference of the Belgian chocolates and Filipino chocolates, it's where the beans come from. So but actually the beans that they use for Belgian chocolates are not from Belgium. It's from other parts. It's everywhere. Like a combination of beans from different countries. While our chocolate, Malagos and Oro, it's a single origin, meaning the beans come from Davao, and yearly they join competitions, and yearly we win, like we get an award for that. So I think it's really worth using it here and introducing to everyone.
So you learn something new every day, I think, and that's something I learned today.
Well, I'm glad that you got something from my story.
I want the things from this story.
Thank you. Thank you so much.